Okay, A is irrational. Michael, is A rational? Absolutely. Why? No, because you can make it into a fraction. Look at this, folks. From our definition of yesterday, very beginning, a rational number can be written as a fraction. Okay? And if it's decimals, they stop or repeat. So that's what you're looking for. Good. Go ahead and do it again now and quit talking. B. Why? Good. So it's a fraction. This one you can make into a fraction for A. C. Kyle. Why? Nope. It's because it repeats. That fraction is actually 2 over 3. Okay, it's a special one. So sometimes when they'll just be repeating, and you don't really know exactly what the fraction is unless you have experience. Okay? But because it's repeating, it's a rational number. But what about D then? What would you say, Sean? Why? There's the value of pi. Anything repeating? No, nothing repeating. So this goes forever. So this is not rational. Okay? Because it's not repeating. Next one. Michelle. Oh, she's not here today. Alouette.
No.
Why?
I'm not sure.
What did I just do up on the screen? Made into a fraction. Okay? Or 52 over 10, your choice. Okay, so this, want to change your answer? Yes. Okay, that's a rational number. Okay, so most decimals are, only a few of them won't be. What about this one, square root 2? Is that rational or irrational? Try it on your calculator. Anything repeating? No. Okay, so this is an irrational number. Try square root 4. What's that one equal? Yeah, that one equals 2. So this is rational. Okay. Questions? All right. Continuing on then. So you have to be able to convert decimals to fractions. The decimal place tells us the denominator. And if you want to cheat, the number of decimal places tells us the number of zeros. So this here is in the 10th decimal place. So it will simply be 9 over 10. Here, the last digit is in the hundredths. It's not hundredths, hundredths. So the decimal value then will be 25 over 100. Oh, but which do we do? Yeah, always simplify. So lowest terms, 1/4. Right. Okay. What about C? We just kind of did C up above. How would we change that into a fraction? Well, the decimal value of the last decimal is tenths. So you have options here. 1 is your whole number, and you have 4 tenths. Or you can go 14 over 10. Either is fine. Put in lowest terms, what do you get? 1 and 2 over 5. And what about the bottom? What would you get? 7 over 5. Okay, so you're going to have to divide them both by 2. Okay, and here you divide them both by 2. Okay. All right, D. What would that one be? 2 and 5 over 1,000. Okay. Do you guys see what I mean by 3 decimal places, 3 zeros in the denominator? Okay, so that's another way to kind of cheat a little bit. But in grade 10, we only tell you the place value to round to. So we'll say round to nearest tenth or round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, we don't say round to 1 decimal, round to 2. Okay, we name the place value. Lowest terms. Okay, 2 and 1 over 200. Or 21 over 200. Your choice. Okay. What about the next one? Can you see from back there, Emma? Okay. Okay. 31 over, Nicole? 10,000. Good. Okay. Done. Any questions? You need to be able to convert. We do it all the time, okay? If you have any questions, ask, Google it, do something. Don't just sit there and pretend you'll go away. Okay, so we're talking about numbers now. How to represent a number accurately. Okay. So, Nick finished his game. I led you golf course 3 strokes under par. Par, if you didn't know it, for golf is 0. So how would you represent 3 strokes under par? -3. Good. B. How would you write that? Heat spell, 40.6 degrees. Oh, it's real simple, folks. All we're looking for is a plus 40.6. Okay, we're not looking to get anything crazy. We're just deciding whether the number should be positive or negative. Well, Preet. What would that one be, Kevin? -20. Okay, and you should use dollars. Okay, -$20. All right. Any questions? Okay. Try next one. Question 3. Which fraction does not equal -2 and 4/10? So what we want to do here for each one, for each fraction, you want to simplify. Okay. And you want to get a common denominator. So we're working on our fraction skills, not our calculator push button skills. Okay. So first of all, let's simplify -2 and 4/10. What does that one equal? -2 and 2/5. Okay. All right, simplify the rest. Do a little bit of work here, folks. They're not all lowest terms. Simplify all of them, and then you can compare. Go. I'll give you the time to see what you can. Okay, so looking at A, the negative sign goes up front. You ignore your negative sign when converting. Okay, so after I write it up front, I don't want to think about it. So the denominator is 5. I can take out 2 groups, which is 10. So 12 minus 10 equals 2. So -2 and 2/5, they're equal. Okay, so you're just reducing this to lowest terms. The negative sign can be written up front or up top, wherever you want. What about B? Is that proper? No. Okay, you can take out another group of 5. So this would become a 2. And then you would have 2 remaining. They're equal. Okay. What about this one? Well, let's not even bother changing it to a mixed. If you have 2 negative signs, what's the true value of the fraction? Positive 24 over 10. So this one right away does not equal it. But let's complete D in case Mr. Barker decides to give you 2 correct answers, 2 choices to circle. How many negative signs do you have? 3. So these 2 will cancel out. You'll be left with -48 over 20. Still some work to do, isn't there? Okay. So how many groups of 20 can we take out? 2. So again, don't talk about negative signs when you're converting. Okay, you're not supposed to. And there'll be 8 remaining over 20. Now put in the lowest terms. So divide them both by 4. Okay, so divide the top by 4, the bottom by 4, and you're going to get 2 over 5. Okay, so this one, does it have the same value? Yep, they're equal. So C was our only answer of a fraction that's not equal. So you gotta be tricky how things are written. Pay attention to them. Understand with your negative signs, how to convert fractions, etc., etc. When it comes to fraction work, don't cheat on your calculator. Okay. If it's a big subtraction and you're kind of stuck, go ahead and do that. But don't just type in the fraction and press equals. It's really going to suck next year. Okay. It's something you need to know how to do. Any questions? Okay. So we just talked about this. A negative sign can be written anywhere in the fraction. Okay, so we can write this as negative 3 over 10, or we can write it as negative 3 over 10 with a negative sign in the middle, or we can write it as 3 over negative 10. Doesn't matter where. It still has all three of a value of what? 3 divided by 10, 0.3. So negative 0.3. Okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the textbook plays a funny little game here, which I don't really like, but they're going to do it to you. If we have negative 5 over 6, here the numerator, the top, is larger than the denominator. Sorry, the numerator is smaller. Pardon me. Smaller than the denominator. Okay. But here they will say that the denominator is smaller than the numerator. Okay. So you're going to get some question which is really kind of weird and worded funny. You don't get it. Come back to this, and this is what they're talking about, moving the negative sign to the bottom. I personally think it's not kind of a waste of time, but the other teachers really like it, so I did include it in your questions. All right? Good. B, which fraction is between these two numbers? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to turn these to fractions. This would be negative 7 and 7 over 10. And this one's going to be negative 7 and 3 over 10. So the fractions are in between. What are they? Well, in between those numbers would be negative 7 and 6 over 10. Negative 7 and 5 over 10. Negative 7 and 4 over 10. Okay, so let's have a look and see what these fractions reduce to. This here would be negative 7 and what over 10? 8. Okay, so this one, is this above or below? Below. Okay, it's outside the range and it's below the range. Okay, this one, convert these fractions to mixed fractions. Go. Okay, convert them. Right? Sorry? What about it? Yeah. Okay. You guys got these? Okay, so this one here is below. Let's do C first. C, is it in that range? Not even close. It's like way up there, right? It's a positive, so it's way above that range. Okay, I didn't have to convert it. Negative 7 and 1/7. Ooh, it might be. What should I do? I'm not too sure. Starts with a C, ends with common denominator. Common denominator, folks. So negative 7 and 10 over 70. Okay, and this lowest one would be negative 7 and 70 over, sorry, times it by 7, 49 over 70. Looks to me like it might be way up here, so let's convert this one. Negative 7 and 21 over 70. Okay, so what would you say about this? It's above. Okay, because 10 is going to be way up here. Okay. What about this one? Should we convert this one? Negative 7 and what? 6 over 10. So is this within the range? Yeah. Okay, so this is within. So you have to be a detective and play around a little bit, right? We're trying to develop number sense a bit. Okay. All right. Next. Identify the fractions and lowest terms that are between 4 and 5 and that have 8 as a denominator. Okay. A little hint, the distance is broken into 8s. So here's 4, here's 5. What would be the next fraction? 4 and 1/8. Right? 4 and 2/8. 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and I need more room. 4 and then 4 and 8/8 and then 5, right? Emma, you want to say something? Yeah, these are the same thing. Okay, these two are the same thing. So Emma's right. This is like 4 and a whole number. So it should just be 5. Okay, once you get to 8/8, you're at the next whole number. What else is a problem? Xander? They're not in lowest terms. So Xander said, well, that's 4.5. He's right. Change the other ones that are not in lowest terms. Go. Okay, so this should be 4 and 1/4. This one should be 4 and 3/4. Okay, the rest are all in lowest terms. All right. Okay, any questions? All right, next one. Give an example of a fraction in lowest terms that satisfies the following conditions. So this is kind of an example of that weird question I was talking about. A fraction is between 0 and -1. This means it's got to be negative. Okay. With the numerator larger than the denominator. So let's just give us a fraction. All fractions will be between 0 and 1. All of them. So if here's 0 and there's 1, all your fractions are going to be there unless they have a mixed number, right? Like 1.5. Otherwise, they're all here. In order to put them between 0 and 1, sorry, 0 and -1, you have to have a negative sign. Okay. So where should we put the negative sign so that the numerator is larger than the denominator?
On the bottom.
On the bottom. Okay. So you got to play around with that a little bit. So you can come up with any example. Now here's a little more specific example. Between -2.4 and -2.5. Please change these into fractions. Go. I'm sure most of you went -2 and 4 over 10 and -2 and 5 over 10. Doesn't look like there's anything in between, right? So maybe we should take our fraction and not make it out of 10, but make it out of 20. See what happens. There we go. So is there a fraction in between now? Absolutely. There's two of them, right? -2 and 9 over, sorry, only one. -2 and 9 over 20. Okay. But does it satisfy the rest? How are we going to do the second part? Denominator smaller than the numerator. 2 is the whole number, 9, and then negative 20. I would never encourage you to write that way, but that's just playing around with the tricks, okay? The best thing is to put the negative sign on the top or the mixed number. Questions? You look stunned. You okay? All right. Let's go over next one. Improper to mixed. All right, so just a little bit of practice. Here we go. Change these to mixed numbers. Okay, so there's the next 3. Check your word. Okay, so the first one's negative 11 over 4. Completely ignore the negative sign. Okay, so next one will be 5 times 5 equals 25. Add it to the 3, and I get 28 over 5. And yeah, I got to put a negative sign somewhere. I always think it's a good habit to put your negative sign in the top. Why? Why might the top be a good spot? Yeah, exactly, because you can see it, right? Otherwise, if it's in the middle or the bottom, we tend to forget it. Sometimes I see this. And people say, oh, that's negative 28 over 5, right? What happened to the negative sign? It got blended in, okay? So be careful with that. So I try not to put it there. Raise it up just a little bit, okay? A little tip for you. This one here, you convert the other way. Take out one group of 10, and there's 3 remaining. I completely ignore the negative sign when converting. Any questions? Okay, yep, Ruby. Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere you want, Ruby. I would just avoid the bottom because you tend to not see it then. Okay? Wait. So you do have some homework, textbook work. It's on the outline. But before we begin, quick quiz. Separate your desks. No calculators.